Hello, everyone. It's so great to be talking to you today. I'm going to be joined in 1 minute by my sister, Elizabeth Kraft. I'm Gretchen Rubin. Together, we are the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And I'm waiting for Elizabeth to join in. But while we're waiting for her, please tell me where you are watching from. It is so fun to know where people are watching from. Let me see if I can add her. Oh, there we go. There, I'm getting. We're so happy. We're going to be talking today about travel hacks and holiday hacks because it's holiday time and travel time. Wait. Okay, wait. I'm waiting. Okay, there she is.
Hi.
Hey, there we go. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so we're very excited to be talking to you now. There we go.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us where you're watching from. Wait, I've got some weird.
I just saw we have Denver and Canada. Oh,
Okay.
another Denver.
There's like a weird thing on my screen that's blocking my, anyway. So Elizabeth, so we are together. We are the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And I'm also the author of many books related to happiness, like The Happiness Project and Better Than Before. But today we're going to be focused on hacks. This is something we talk about a lot on the Happier podcast, which is, all kinds of happiness hacks. And because earlier, first we should say where we are. I'm in New York City, my home office, where I so often am talking about. But where are you, Elizabeth?
I am in Kansas City, and I see a couple of people who are
Yes.
watching are in Kansas City, and also someone was in Hollywood, so both of my hometowns are covered
Yes.
here. I see a friend of mine. Hi, Victoria. I love this.
Oh, this is so fun. Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut for many years in New Haven,
Yes.
Connecticut.
Go to Connecticut often.
I go to Connecticut often. So we're so happy to be talking to you today. And because we're having all these like tech issues, Elizabeth, I have come up with a new hack, which is that we should always travel like with our tech needs.
Yes.
I think that just as we have like our toiletry kit, we need to have our tech kit because the stuff is small and light. And I'm just thinking, I just want to always have it with me because it's inevitably when you don't have it is when you need it.
Yes. Yes, I was wishing today that I had brought my clip-on light. And from now on, I'm going to make up a pack and I'm just going to travel with it. Even if I think there's no chance I'll need it, I'm going to bring it.
Yeah.
So I never forget.
Well, and in the Happiness Project shop, one of the things we have is it's the Yours Are Short pouch, which is one of those little organizational pouch. And I always think of using those pouches for things like office supplies. Right. But now I'm thinking I'm going to use my pouch for a spare charger, my little portable tripod, which I would show, except I'm actually using it right now, and the light. And then because I actually have 4 different sizes of carry-on bags because I have like smallest, less small, medium size, biggest that you can get away with. And then so I can't just put it in the suitcase and forget about it. This way I'll move it back. So I'm so excited to have a new use for my pouch.
Yes, it's always good to have a pouch, Gretch. You know, I can't get enough pouches.
Well, listen, and we unleashed a storm with the packing cube. Like neither you nor I had ever used packing cubes. And it turns out that we like tapped into this deep like river of excitement about the packing cube. Who knew?
Well, and speaking of another packing cube update I have, someone sent an email to me saying, by the way, they had received, you know, when you receive a gift like from a bank or something, and it's, you know, got the bank logo on it. Yeah. Well, they got packing cubes with the company logo. There you go. And they were like, hey, this is something I actually wanted. So you know, we had said you can personalize them for gifts, but also companies, it's a new thing that apparently they're giving away. So everyone, I would love to know if people use packing cubes. Yeah, like give us a thumbs up if you use packing cubes, because neither of us, we were like, what are these packing cubes? I know. But you know what, actually, Elizabeth, that's a really good idea, because also sometimes they give you something that you would really use, except you're like, I'm not going to use it if it's got a big corporate logo on it. But packing cubes, nobody sees it except you, but you would see it. So it's a good maybe, we're getting a lot of thumbs up. Yep. Well, you know, the reason I brought them up to you is because Sarah talked so passionately, my writing partner and co-host of Happier in Hollywood. She just gave me this passionate,
Correct.
lecture about why I needed to get packing cubes, and she convinced me.
Well, listen, speaking of traveling, you're in Kansas City, our hometown now, with our parents, and you traveled during the Thanksgiving period, which in the United States is like it's infamous as being the most heavily traveled time. So were there any hacks that you used successfully or wish you had used on your journey?
Well, the big one is we took a 6:30 a.m. flight. So because of that, we got from the door of our house to the gate at the in 50 minutes.
Wow.
Because
And
there
this
was
is Los Angeles.
in Los Angeles, no traffic at 4:15 in the morning. And then we had no wait at security. There was no wait to check our bags. So even though it was going to be this incredibly busy travel day, for us, it was like no one was traveling. I mean, it was, there were a lot of people. I mean, I will say the line at the Coffee Bean at the airport still had about 40 people in it. But it was really easy, and just, holiday travel is so stressful that to me, it was very worth it to just get in and then, get it done.
Right. Well, I'm saying this for what it's worth, because I am not a travel expert, but I did read something recently, which I will just throw out there because it seems like a good thing, where they were saying often it's good to be the first flight out in the morning because the plane is usually there.
Right.
And so if there are issues, you're the first flight out, and if things start to back up, it's not going to affect you because the plane is there and you take off. But if you think that there might be snow or ice, you don't want to be the first flight out, because that one is like they need to dig the planes out and get everything up and running. So if you're in a place where it's like the weather is likely to be snowy, you maybe take a later flight. I love the early morning flight because you just like get up and go. But Elizabeth, your family is not early risers.
No,
so do you have any hacks for getting people to get up and out the door?
I don't. Hey, if someone has a hack for getting people up at 3:30 in the morning who go to bed after midnight, please do let me know, because it was brutal. It was pretty brutal for them.
Did you
for
think
me, it was not
everybody stay up?
They didn't go to bed, I don't think, till after midnight. So it was, to me, it was absolutely not a problem. But, I don't mind getting up if I have to. But our family has always done that, We did that when we were young. Like if we were going on a summer vacation, I feel like we'd always leave at like 6 in the morning.
Right.
So that seems normal to me.
Right.
And as I told them, I'm like, believe me, if you were sitting in the airport for 8 hours, you would feel differently,
Right.
But yes, so no, and then the other travel hack is just bringing your own snacks so you don't have to buy them at the airport. Of course, will save you a lot of cash.
Yeah. Wait, so if people have their own travel hacks or holiday hacks, put them in. I see somebody asked a question about like, what do you do with your dogs? And that is always a little bit of a thing. We finally found like a really good place for Barnaby to go. But it took a little bit of effort. Barnaby is super social. So for him, like, we think he probably loves it because
it's like camp for him.
It's like camp. Yeah. And he's really active. What did you do? And you have a friend that took Daisy and Nacho, right?
She takes them every time, and she has a dog, and then her grandma's dog comes over. She sent us a picture of them playing. So I also think of it as camp.
Right.
Camp Cynthia, we call it. And they love it, So they're the happiest there because they have all their friends.
Right.
So it works out well for everybody.
Now, what about, so another hack that I have is, and it's funny because I was recently flying and my seatmate and I were talking about how like arctically cold it can get on an airplane. And often it'll be extremely cold and then extremely hot. Like I think and then sometimes they're having you raise and lower the shades. So it's an issue. But now I have like a big shawl that I stick in my bag, and I take that with me. And I feel like that gives me kind of a real level of comfort, because if you're just cold and you're sitting there motionless in your seat, then you can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable. So that's something that I now um, really make sure that I take every time. Do you have something else like, well, and packing your own snacks? Absolutely. Is there anything else that
Yeah.
you always take with you?
Um, no, I mean, I always bring AirPods and all of that. Someone just said that they always have podcasts queued.
That's smart.
Because I think it is, you need to have your podcast downloaded.
Yes, that's the
Right? You
thing.
don't want to have to download them on the plane because you won't be able to, but if they're downloaded, then you can listen.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to start bringing a blanket like you do. I think that's a great idea.
Well, also if you get like something that's wool, it can be really, really thin and yet very,
Yeah.
very warm, so it doesn't take. Well, and Elizabeth, a hack that I figured out, I had a tote bag, and my theory about the tote bag I used every day was I didn't want it to be too big, because then I would overstuff it and I would be dragging around this thing that weighed 100 pounds. But then I realized, when you're traveling, if you have a bigger tote bag and you can put in the shawl, and you can put in, I like to have a canvas tote bag, because so often you're like, I wish I had a canvas tote bag with me. And again, they're very small and very light, but you have to stick them in somewhere. And like, I don't like to read ebooks. Okay, who likes to read ebooks? Who likes audiobooks? Who likes print books? I like print books, but I made the mistake one time of only having one book that I did not realize that I would not enjoy, and I was stuck, and it was like burned in my memory. So now I always want to have like 3 books with me, which that takes a lot of
Yes.
space.
Yes, you asked me the other day if a book was airplane worthy. You're like, are you sure I'm going to like it? Because I don't want to take it on the airplane unless you know I'm going to like it.
Okay, so what happened with that? I don't think I forgot to tell you. So you told me Matthew Perry's memoir was so good. So the thing that I do to make sure that I truly do find it airport worthy is I read the first chapter. But then I liked it so much, I read like 3/4 of the book, and then I'm like, well, now I don't want to take it on an airplane because I'll finish it in an hour.
Oh,
It was
that's
so
funny.
airplane worthy that I couldn't even take it on the plane.
Oh, that is funny.
Right.
So I always know what you'll find entertaining.
Yes.
Someone says ebooks all the way. Someone else said they have a heated scarf. I don't know what that is.
Wow, that's very cool. Wait, and someone says, wait, it would just print book weighs just as much as an iPad, so take print. Yeah, but if you're taking 3 books, it's more than an iPad.
Or if you also have to take your iPad anyway, which I do.
Right.
I don't think I travel anywhere without my iPad anymore.
That's how I am with my laptop. It's just like my comfort object. Even if I have
speaking of, Gretch, you should talk about your ultimate travel hack that you have now with your portable 3 laptop screen.
Well, thank you for asking, because this is unpaid. They did write me like a nice email saying thank you. Because I'm telling everybody about this thing. Somebody told me about it, and I don't know how to say the name of the product, which is, it's XEVEC. So I don't know if that's X-back or Z-back or Shayback. I don't even know. But so this is this thing, and this clips over my laptop, and then these things pull out to be so they're on the sides of my laptop. This is where the actual laptop is. So, and then I connect it with wires. And so this is the screen, like the main screen of my laptop, and these are 2 active monitors. I'm somebody who is really loves having a lot of monitors, because I'll have my email up and a document and the internet or whatever. And I just feel like I can work so much more efficiently like that. And this thing, it's $300, and it's the greatest thing of all time. It's very light. It travels really well. And now I take it with me anytime I go someplace overnight. I love it. So if you're somebody who that's the kind of thing that appeals to you, or if there's somebody you know who really likes to work that way, I really loved it. I use it now every single time I travel.
Gretch, can I suggest another travel hack, which I think is really useful, which is bring like Advil, Dayquil, NyQuil. You know, even if you feel totally fine when you leave, it's so helpful to just have it in your doc kit, as opposed to being somewhere and then having to go out and take time to find like a drugstore.
when you're not feeling well. So
Yes.
what I did, and everybody, like, if you've got your hacks, put them in. We want to share them all.
Yeah.
We can all learn from each other. We need more travel hacks ourselves. Um, I got one of those weekly pill thing dispensers that has all the little compartments.
Yeah.
And so I have like a compartment of Advil and a compartment
Oh.
of whatever allergy medicine is, and Pepto-Bismol, and a bunch of different stuff. And so then every
Oh.
time I travel, I just look at it and see if I need to fill up any of the compartments. But that way
That's
I get a full
clever.
complement. And if I need it, it's just like right there.
That is really clever. I want to do that. I
Yeah.
can't believe I hadn't heard you talk about that, Gretch.
Yeah, I love anything with like cunning little compartments, like advent
Yes.
calendars, or old apothecary cabinets. And so I was searching for a reason to justify buying one of those pill compartments, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Well, you know what my new pill hack is, by the way, side note, is I have two of those because I take pills every day, and I filled them at the same time. So I do 2 weeks at once.
Oh, that's so smart.
Because they cost like $2, right?
Yeah.
And then, because it's such a hassle, right? So
Right.
if you're doing it, might as well do 2 weeks. Anyway,
Right.
that's my, it's not a travel hack. It's just a hack.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, that's really important. And like, maybe we'll do like a little sidebar here while we're talking, since you brought it up. Is like, this is one of the things when I was writing Better Than Before, that's all about habit formation. One of the things I heard over and over again from people in the medical profession is having people take medication consistently is like a huge issue. Because there's a lot of people where they just aren't taking their medication for like a
Right.
chronic condition where they would really be better off. And so in Better Than Before, I talked about a lot of different things to try to help people with this issue. But that one I did not have. I think that's a great one.
Well,
So
because I noticed, Gretch, anytime I don't take my pills, it's always when I need to refill my pill box.
Well, see, that's a great example of paying attention to what are the patterns? When am I succeeding and when am I failing? So I have the app, the Happier app, and one of the things that it's meant to do is to help you notice, like, what are you doing well and when are you not doing well, so that you can sort of think like, well, if it's just too much of a hassle, how can I make it less of a hassle?
Right.
Well, by batching it, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, someone said they always bring chapstick, and it's funny because I actually bought chapstick in the airport. Once again, bring it. Don't buy it in the airport where it's very expensive. But it was like, okay, I'm gonna need this chapstick. So.
Right. Wait, let me unplug my phone because it's ringing. The joys of the home office.
Yes.
Barnaby's charging.
Great things about working at home.
I know, right.
Less good things.
Okay, so now we said we were going to talk about holiday hacks, and a lot of travel hacks are kind of holiday hacks, since travel is often a big part of holidays. Here's a holiday hack that I used this year, which is for holiday decorating. Like, put it on the calendar, like, because for us, Christmas decorating is kind of a big thing. Christmas decorating is a big tradition in our family, and so in my house we have a lot of decorations. And so it's not a 20-minute undertaking. We got to get we got to get a lot of boxes up from our basement storage. We have our Halloween decorations, which I took down. So those have to be put back. Then everything has to be unpacked, move the boxes back down, all this. And so instead of just saying like, I need to do it sometime before December 25th, I actually put it on the calendar. And that gave me sort of peace of mind, because I didn't keep thinking like, oh, should we do it today? Should we do it today? Or like, oh, I'm going to forget. I was like, I know when we're going to do it. We're going to do it the Friday after Thanksgiving. I wanted to do it on Thanksgiving, but Eliza said that Thanksgiving, we should be enjoying Thanksgiving and like seeing the parade and all that, and not thinking about Christmas. It's like, fair enough. We'll do it Friday. So
we were in the plaza today, Gretch.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City, we have the plaza. It's a shopping center, and Jack saw Christmas decorations in the window, and he said, too soon, too soon.
Yeah.
Got to be the day after Thanksgiving, no sooner.
Right.
Now, okay, so Eliza, because your oldest no longer lives at home, so that's
Yeah.
good. You could also say, be home here on this day, we're going to do the decorations.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we picked that day, because she's going to spend the night Thanksgiving.
Oh, perfect.
So we sort of talked about that. So I was like, okay, that's great. You'll be here. Let's hang out. And then on Friday when you're here, oh, so someone says, what's the age spread between both sisters? Yeah, did we mention that we're sisters, Elizabeth?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. We are.
You're 5.5 years older than I am.
Yes.
So we kind of were both only children, just at opposite. You were at the beginning and I was at the end of high school.
Yeah, yeah.
And your daughters are 6.5?
Yes. 6, or no, just a little bit more than 6, not quite 6.5. Yeah. So to us, that seems very, you know, if someone says I'm a big sister. Yeah. That seems, you know, that's what we're used to. Yeah. Yeah. What else? What's another good holiday? Well, listen, you're into your tablescapes now. I think that's a good,
yes.
That's kind of seems like a good way to add a lot of festivity in a pretty straightforward, simple way.
Yes. Well, but I'm dealing with Gretchen because I'm going to do the decorating, but now we have these 2 dogs. So Mom was asking me, can you decorate your dining table or can the dogs get up on there?
Can they?
Well, they can if the chairs are in a certain way. So I have to keep the chairs pushed in so they can't get up there because you know, there is a sort of Christmas tablescape I could do, but obviously I don't want to risk them destroying it. And, you know, I am hosting Christmas this year. So this is a big deal. So for a few, here's a holiday hack that Mom just told me about, which I employed, which is she said, you know, ham, because I need to get a ham. She's like, it sells out. Right. So I ordered my ham yesterday. Right. And it will be delivered. Now, luckily, we have a freezer in the garage, so I can put it in the freezer and then I guess take it out like 3 days before. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was glad. I had no idea. Of course, I wouldn't have known that ham sells out. So ordering it early, that's a hack.
We had on the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, we talked about holiday hacks from listeners, and somebody said, like, do your shopping early because then first of all you don't have to worry about crowds, and then also you don't have to worry about them selling out, or like, you know, you come to buy wrapping paper and it's all just like this, you're like, why did they even?
That has happened to me. Yes.
Yeah, you're like
only the ugly wrapping paper is left. Yes.
Yeah, you got to.
Or only the bows that like don't look cheerful. Like, I don't know why anyone makes non-cheerful looking bows, but yes, that has happened to me more than once.
Yeah.
I will, just between us, Gretch, I will tell you that I broke down and I ordered half off corgi wrapping paper, 4 different varieties.
It had to be done. It's inevitable.
How could I not?
All things corgi. Okay, but we want to hear from you. Do you have any holiday hacks? Because we want more. We need more, especially related to hosting, entertaining. Are there any great hacks about how to make it easier, how to make it more festive? One thing that Mom did that I thought was really fun when Eliza and Eleanor were little, I think it was when Eleanor was really little, is she had her make name cards for everybody to sit around the dining room table. And like, you know, she did like the thing that kids do where it's like 1 red letter, 1 green letter, 1 red letter, 1 green letter. But then what was great was that Mom kept them. And so now that's what we use every year. And so it's fun because it's just this like little, it's so fun to see her like
little handwriting.
The little handwriting. And so it was, I think a lot, I would have thought of doing the name cards, but I don't know that I would have thought, oh, if I put this with the holiday decorations, we can use the same ones every year. And that'll just add this like layer of reminiscence.
Well, and something else we discussed recently on the podcast, Gretchen, is crackers, Christmas crackers. Yes. Which is the things you pull apart and they pop, and then there's a crown inside, and usually like a joke and a little toy. Yeah. And we found out from all of our English listeners, it's very common in England, that you're supposed to cross your arms and do each other. So we at our house always pulled them apart. So Gretchen, you'll be in Kansas City for Christmas. Yeah. Are you gonna do that? The
Yes.
cross?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to try it.
We did that, and it was at Halloween, because I had Halloween crackers, and it was really fun to do the arm crossing trick.
Well, here's a hack from somebody watching. For the last few, from your Zen Friend Pod, for the last few years, we have done takeout for dinner on the night of Christmas. I'm always so exhausted by then that we all relax and watch a movie, and it feels earned. I mean, I think that's a great example of like, you do whatever makes sense for like you and who you're celebrating with, and there's no right way and no wrong way. And you know, someone says yes, all around the table together. As long as you're like having a great moment, if you feel like you're frazzled and you're exhausted, like then yeah, like maybe it's sort of like, okay, now we enter into the takeout zone, and that's really fun.
That's a great idea. And someone said keep gravy in a coffee carafe that keeps it warm, so that it, you know how they have now the coffee cups that keep coffee warm, and then the gravy won't get cold. That's
well, listen, it's another, you always talk about your corksicle. You're a big fan of the corksicle.
You know, I'm a big fan of corksicle.
Well, maybe they should get us like a side product line in the gravy one.
The gravy boat,
The gravy boat, the corksicle gravy boat. That, I would put that in your stocking for sure. Somebody's Spile6 says, my grandma used to give my kids McDonald's gift certificates for Christmas, and we used them on Christmas Eve so the kitchen would stay clean. Oh, that's keeping things clean.
That's a good idea.
Now, I can't resist mentioning something that I created. If you're interested in like holding on to memories, because that's like the name cards and things. This is the Memento Journal on my shop, and it has these pockets where you can put stuff in, and you can write notes and put stuff on it. And this is great to keep organized. And I've heard from people who they use it for like Christmas for 12 years or whatever, and they put in things that are related to that holiday. It's funny, this was based on a thing. Alyssa, did Grandma and Grandpa give you the thing about my school?
I think they did, yes.
It was a thing that our grandparents gave us called My School Years, and it had all these pockets, and you could put in your report card and your birthday invitation and your class photo. And I still have mine. It's right behind me, in fact. I could grab it. And I just found it to be like the most efficient and organized way to hang on to all these kind of like loose bits of mementos. And so this would be a really fun thing to do as a way to hang on to whatever kind of memories it is that you're trying to organize. So if you're somebody, like I'm very interested in how to curate memories and hang on to things because my memory is so bad. So that can be a good thing to use yourself or to give as a gift.
Yeah, you are, Gretchen, always looking for ways to remember things.
Well, you have the amazing memory. You're constantly saying to me like, oh, do you remember this thing that happened 5 years ago? And I'm like, I do not remember that. But now that you mention it, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to work on my Five Senses book. Is like, I realized that the five senses, I mean, everybody talks about this, but it's really true that your five senses help bring back memories. And so I think that's one of the reasons that I was so excited about that.
Gretchen, someone mentioned the hack that Jill Biden mentioned, which I think we've talked about on the podcast before, which is to label different jobs. So when people say, what can I do? You can say, oh, make the salad. And it's sort of like everything you need for the salad is there and labeled. And then people can actually, help in an easy, effective way.
Right. And it's not on you in the moment to be like, well, why don't you do this? And then, right. No. And they can kind of pick their own job. Yeah. That seemed like a really good.
Here's a question I have for people.
Okay.
There's two schools of thoughts on the whole bringing flowers. Some people say you should never bring flowers that aren't in a vase if you're going to someone's house. Other people love bringing flowers, but the idea is, does it make work for the hostess or host?
Okay, so people weigh in. What do people think?
Yeah, I'm just
bring
curious.
them or don't bring them?
Because I totally get the idea that it is a hassle, but then again, it's nice to get flowers. So.
I say more flowers. Well, again, studying the five senses, I'm like, I've got me focused, so much more appreciative of like the wonder of flowers. So yeah, okay. Love flowers. Bring. Yeah, good point. Put in a vase ahead of time.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, this is okay. So yeah, somebody says I get a vase ready in advance in case someone brings. Oh, that's
Oh,
smart. That's smart. Well, so here is the thing. When you get an arrangement, often it will come in kind of an inexpensive glass vase, and these can pile up.
yes.
So we have a flower shop on the corner of our street. And so what I have been doing is like every once in a while when I have a bunch of these, I just give them to them and they always take them, even if they
Oh, I'm
didn't
sure
come.
they're, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, it's just a vase. But now I'm thinking I should keep a couple of these and then I could give them away because,
Yes. If you take flowers to someone, you could put them in
yeah,
the vase. Someone said only on Flower Friday. For anyone who missed it, we talked about getting flowers on Fridays.
yeah. But well, and you know what you could do also is this would be good is like put them in the vase, but not with water. So then it's
Mm.
easy to
Yeah.
travel. Because I
Yes.
was
And
just
then
thinking
you,
like, oh, but there'd be all this water sloshing around. But you don't have to put the water until you get there.
that is very clever, Gretchen. That's a
Yes.
good hack. I think we need to
Yeah,
unleash that on the podcast. That's
I
a
know.
very good hack.
Yeah, and then maybe it's kind of like gift bags, like paper gift bags. They just kind of circulate. Like it was just like a red gift bag with nothing on it. It's like,
Yes.
I'll give it to you, and then
Yeah.
you give it to me, and my
Yeah.
mother-in-law and I just like send the same gift bags back and
Yes.
forth. They're like getting a
Happens
little
all, yeah.
crinkly. Yeah, getting a little crinkly. Oh,
Yes,
but I
we
have
all
to
know,
mention.
do not write on the little tag on a gift bag. You're not allowed to write on that.
Well, what I do is I just rip it off if it's been
No, I
written
do
on.
that too. Yeah, I rip it off.
Okay, but I have to mention my thing that I love, 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 and then I think we need to go. But I love the John Darien sticker book, which are these very elegant, elevated stickers. And like by the way, if you have not looked into the world of sticker books, it's like a thriving whole world now. And I kind of went nuts. As an underbuyer, I don't usually do this, but I did like get sort of sticker frenzied. And I think my favorite other one, I think is called Bibliophilia. But what I realize is that these stickers are in the John Darien, a lot of them are really big, like maybe even the whole size of the page. So they're not typical size of stickers, which is cool. And I was thinking one thing that you could do is if you had like the plain red gift bag and you didn't want to write like happy birthday on it, you wanted it to feel elevated and special to this person, but also mean they could keep using it. I was like, oh, I could pick out that big elephant sticker or that big,
Yes.
astrolabe sticker. And it would make it seem cool and distinctive, but they could still use it if they wanted to regift, because gift bags are so great in that way. They're so much better than wrapping paper in that you just can use.
Yes. And Gretch, just before we go, I'm going to mention a couple of people
Yeah.
for leftovers had tips. Either bring your own leftover
Oh, good.
containers,
Let's hear
which
this.
is useful, or someone said send people home with disposable muffin tin leftovers in those. So that's because leftovers is like always an issue, right?
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's smart. Is like, I think one of the things about holidays is like the challenges tend to appear over and over again. And so if you sort of sit
Yes.
down and think like, when have I had an issue before? And then what can I do about it? It's kind of like this. It's like, okay, you had your moment of being like, I wish I had my little travel light. So now I will learn from that. It's just good to sort of step back and think about, or like with you saying, well, I live in Los Angeles, the traffic, you don't live far from the airport, but it could take forever because
Oh yeah.
LA traffic, if we go in the morning, we avoid that. It's like with a little bit of forethought, you can often figure out a way around it. So everyone, thanks for watching. This is so much fun.
Yes.
If you want to hear us talk more about hacks and all things happiness, listen to the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And this is such a fun conversation. Thanks.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving, everyone.